before. So both of these runners are high caliber, and it looks like we are off immediately, getting a Link's House check there with just a 5 rupees.
Yeah, nothing terribly useful in that first check. Hopefully we'll get something a bit better as things go on here. I did not catch a bit of that map check. I'm hoping you did.
Unfortunately, I was looking over and didn't even see anything. We got some people saying that we've got a green pendant in Eastern Palace. And tree pull today is just going to be 5 rupees there. Not 5 rupees, 5 arrows. Sorry, everybody. I'm just waking up right now.
That sword does make things nice. It also allows the potential of just running straight through escape, like right off the bat, as our uncle decides to push us towards maybe a little bit of divination.
Yeah, we've picked up the pearl there to start this race here, and you're exactly what you said. They're running straight into escape. This is one of the nice things about Assured Sword. It means you can get this one kind of annoying check out of the way. It's that uncle start becomes really, really much more attractive.
Yeah, and it also allows people to not worry too much about hey, when am I gonna put this in? Because that's the big gripe against a non-standard race, is that if you're sitting there in open mode, sometimes you're kind of like, when am I gonna do escape? And then sometimes you do it early and you waste 3 or 4 minutes, and then you get the boots and the mirror, and it's like, well, dang it, I could have done this way faster if I just waited. And sometimes it's 2 hours in and you find, your go mode fire rod.
Yeah, people love to try to put off escape in your standard open mode just because it's such an awkward check, because a lot of times you got to do it with bombs or some other sort of weird way of doing it. But right now these guys can just blast right through and open up the boomerang chest there just to find a map, which means we've got some items hiding in the back of escape there.
And that's another interesting thing. If they choose to do some sort of death warp down here, they're still going to need a bomb to get to the back of escape. And that's not even including having to do the dark rooms. That probably wouldn't be too much of a difficulty for our runners should they choose to.
That's going to be the biggest question here now we got to be a little bit careful here, because we are only on 3 hearts. So Furaime deciding that, you know what, discretion's the better part of valor, going to go pick up a pot and smash the ball and chain guard just for a piece of heart, though.
Yeah, that's really not a chest you want to leave alone. Even if you're fully loaded with every single quick movement item you can manage, it's still going to take you a couple minutes to get back, and you don't really want to start a race that behind.
Very true, very true. So we're gonna head out to Sanctuary now, make our way over to the Lost Woods. At this point, it's just a matter of waiting to see what we're gonna find in question goes.
Yeah, Kakariko has generally been fairly useful. So it'll be nice to see us hopefully get some stuff there. Hey, that bush crab is nice. Early rupees are always a good thing to run across.
Yeah, especially when you don't know exactly what you're going to be dealing with. Zora there, and the other tree pull there, picking up 4 bombs for Furaime there in the escape, in the Lost Woods, and the mushroom spot having more bombs. So people are getting exactly what they need to start this race right now. So this is moving pretty quickly. So
yeah, we've got the rupees. Furaime at least has the bombs. Humbugh is going to have 3 of them. Not sure if we'll see a tree pull here. Wouldn't surprise me to see one, but we haven't seen one yet from him. So we'll have to wait for that. But either way, we're going to have, at minimum, the rupees we need for Kakariko and 3 bombs to get through Kakariko if needed. So that's a pretty nice start. No weird routing today required.
Definitely. If you can pick up that tier 2 tree pull, and knowing that that's bombs, and knowing that you've got the bush crab dropping off 20 rupees, you're gonna know that you don't necessarily need to be too conservative with your usage here. As Furaime gets into the bottom of Blind's hut here, finds a fire rod, a couple more bombs, as well as a piece of heart and just 20 more rupees. But that fire rod is now a huge find, because that'll just open up half the game to you and gives you the ability to go ahead and complete Skull Woods from the beginning.
Yeah, that is a good point. It also tends to be one of those items that's been a little more difficult to find in V31, so I'm happy to see it early. Let's do a hunt for something else, please. Or nothing at all would be even better, but I'm not naive enough to hope for that.
Yeah, no, the enough races that we've calmed, yeah, there's a good chance we're going to be looking for something crazy here eventually. Back of the well, just giving you 20 rupees there, as well as more 50 rupees, so your bottle vendor is now paid for and available. Some flippers and 10 arrows. So those bush crabs spitting out the 20s there are going to be very helpful for our runners.
Yeah, and the fact that both of our runners aren't aware of those bush crabs could be an interesting point of divergence in terms of money grabbing early on. So we'll see if that works out.
Yeah, the problem with those flippers there is that it eliminates the ability to do the hula hand room for Furaime, and that's one of the easiest ways to pick yourself up about 200 plus rupees in no time whatsoever. I'm gonna have to see if that's gonna be an issue.
Yeah, the only other way to easily get across our hula hand room is if we do manage to find one of those gloves somewhere. Then we can kind of bomb ourselves into the back of Escape, knock the camera off center a little bit, and get hula hand that way. But as of right now, I don't believe there's an easy way to initiate that, as we get another 20 in the back of the tavern there. So Kakariko's being somewhat friendly with money, but not on a large scale, unfortunately. So those bush crabs might really end up being a huge difference.
Okay, we're getting a blind race game check over here for the hammer. Well, that's a very nice find right there. We just want to get there to
that was almost a mistake.
Yeah. Humbug walking over there, getting ready to just go, oh, there's never anything on the race game. Not a big deal. Oh, wait. I need that. Let me go get that, please.
Oh, yeah, very much so. That was one of those, you get ready to make a turn and you slam on the brakes because there's the hammer right there. Go get it.
There's nothing worse than when you're so fast on that one where you go ahead and you smash you're smashing the select button and you go ahead and hit save and quit as the moment you realize, wait, I needed that item and now I have to walk all the way back for it. All right, Furaime is over here in the dam, pulling out that little lever there, gonna drain this thing. Find out that he has just gotten the boots hiding under the water. It's a very soggy pair of boots, but you can now go fast.
That's all right. Once you get about halfway through a screen with them, the friction will dry them out pretty quickly, so we shouldn't have too much of a problem here.
Exactly. And we're going to go and take those things, go directly into the desert, find out that there's nothing on the ledge today. Gonna get some spin speed there off of the steps outside there just to move even quicker through the desert there. That's right there. I've been seeing a lot more spin speed being done by a lot of these higher level runners. So that is a good thing there if you're looking to learn some glitches there in linked into rando here. That's a good one to speed your time up there pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, spin speed is an absolutely amazing glitch once you manage it consistently. I much prefer the hook dash just because it's easier to do, but that requires a hook shot, whereas spin speed just requires a sword. So you're going to have the ability to do spin speed more frequently. All right, be careful here. Let's not get murdered by any moldorms.
I'm gonna get really
Probably
quiet for
safer.
a minute. Oof.
One more bomb. All right, there we go.
Close there. It's the problem. Those mini moldorms, they look like they should be nice and easy to kill, but they can be trolly little buggers as we get a bow and a blue cane in here, so Eastern Palace is now available for you to complete if that's something you want to do.
I mean, might as well, right?
It's a green pendant. That's the thing. So, I mean, this is one of those nasty situations there where you're going to have to make a decision about completing something that you might not need to do. And it's not a huge time sink, but it's roughly about a 3-minute dungeon from start to finish. And which way are you going to go with it?
I don't know. I've seen with the way that V31's been, most runners are content to kind of follow what the seed gives them. So I wouldn't be surprised to see at least one of them jump into Eastern with that early bow. We do see a water walk, speaking of glitches that are absolutely wonderful and a blast to pull off. That one's always fun to just fly through the waters of Hyrule.
Definitely agree there. And it's another one of those that looks like, oh, how are you doing that? That's so difficult. It's actually just as easy as just dashing down the side of the platform in Ice Rod Cave. If you're enough over the side there, you're gonna get the water walk every time, and it's just one of those easy things that looks difficult but is not actually hard.
Oh yeah, and it is a huge time save too to not have to swim through that.
And Hobo is just giving us 20 rupees right now, and Humbug is deciding, you know what, I don't have Zora money yet. I'm just gonna go directly to the Eastern Palace area and just hope that this is where my last little bit of Dark World progression is gonna be here.
Yeah, and speaking of, one of the potential locations for that last glove would be the back of Escape. And it would be an unfortunate portion of it. We would need, actually, I don't know if the very back of Escape is in logic with just the Fire Rod. I know that the Dark Cross is in logic with the Fire Rod, but I don't know if the three in the back are. I don't believe so, because there's a couple of rooms that do not have the torches for us to light, but we could at least, in logic, get to Dark Cross right now.
Well, every single one of those rooms in Escape does have a torch, so it would be in logic, but it's not going to matter because in the Waterfall Cave, Furaime just picked up their gloves, so it looks like one person has chosen right, and in Humbug's case here, you gotta hope that he's getting something out of Eastern.
Yeah, to some extent that would be nice, but then on the other hand, you don't want Humbug to get something that would lead him away from that. If anything, we'd like a 300 rupee hoard or something like that, something that just screams, "Hey, go to Zora."
Right, and we're finding some powder there on the waterfall ledge there. So we've got a mushroom in the back of Sashirala's closet, and then the powder sitting there on the waterfall. So we're not going to have to be pulling any sort of fake powder shenanigans today. We can just go ahead and turn that mushroom in immediately once we get it, as Furaime just is deciding, you know what, let's start at Hype Cave today. So do we want to start guessing on the Hype Cave ratings?
I'm going to go ahead and give it a, I don't know, I'll say a 4. I'm going to say we're going to get something that's helpful. Like, all right, so we've got a pendant, we got pendants on Thieves Town and Swamp. So those are the other two. I'm going to say something helpful like maybe a mirror or something of that nature, but nothing overly useful.
Starting off with some bombs, followed up by 10 arrows and piece of heart, a piece of heart, and a piece of heart. So yeah, we're looking at a complete dead zero of a hype cave. I mean, the pieces of heart are decent when you've only got 4 hearts. So I'm going to add that to the list of hype cave things that I've seen this tournament that have just been absolute bupkis.
Yeah, that really was not the hype cave we're looking for, and Furaime is going to want to be careful here because we are sitting on 1 heart, so I'm sure their screen right now is doing the... Well, never mind. That's a nice fairy pickup.
That is called game knowledge right there, knowing that there's usually a fairy hiding under one of those bushes there. Picks that up without any problem. Humbugh on the other side having a little trouble getting that chest out, finds 10 arrows and is going to make their way back and just going to get that green pendant out of the way.
Yeah, this is a situation where if that mushroom that Humbugh picked up here comes up being useful, that could end up being a big deal. But other than that, it's looking like Eastern was not supposed to be the play.
It's kind of crazy that we're seeing this much divergence here, because Humbugh's got to be really careful in here. Those torches will go out pretty quickly if he doesn't hurry, and you don't want to be on that low of hearts walking through this dungeon.
Yeah, you really don't want to be anywhere with half a heart, as we do get a mail upgrade on Furaime's side, so that's nice. Probably something that Humbugh would desperately want at this point. 4 hearts.
Of this other pod, he's going to get 1 heart back, so that's pretty good, as Furaime makes his way into the back of Escape as well, so...
I don't think we're going to get that 3rd chest, or at least I didn't see it on my end. I saw a piece of heart and a big 20 in the back of Escape, but that is all that I was able to make out.
Didn't look like anything else, anything interesting there. Humbugh beats his first dungeon, picks up a green pendant, and he's gonna go ahead and move on and run back to Sasharala. Now he's kind of hoping that, hey, maybe was this worth it, because at the moment I did nothing.
Yeah, at this point he's got the green pendant turning, which we're going to see in just a second. Alright, that was useless.
Oof.
So now we're sitting on, hopefully, mushroom is something.
That's not what you want to see right there. Now Furaime taking those boots, checked bonk rocks there, and is going ahead and check the lumberjack as well. Both of those didn't really give him anything, but is sitting on 5 hearts now, so you know, well done. It's gonna go run up to Death Mountain here and open that portal up here. So it's gonna be doing some dark rooms here and holding out the sword so we can kind of track exactly where they're going. And to trust this here, but will pretty quickly find their way up onto the top of the mountain there.
Yeah, this is one of the easier dark rooms in the game, if not the easiest. I thought Humbugh was going to head up the mountain, but... Oh yeah, it doesn't have the glove yet. Never mind. Gonna be grabbing that in just a second, though, as Humbugh did get enough rupees here to do Zora.
It's kind of unfortunate that he went there to pick up the rupees that he needs from the bush crab, because you could have just ran down towards the dam. In the screen next to the dam, the screen right before the mini Moldorm cave, there is a bush crab right there that people tend to forget about. That one right there could have given him the 20 rupees and that he needed without having to save and quit there and lose the extra time, thanks to the version update.
Yep, and Furaime went ahead and went for the inside spectacle rock item just off the bat there. That one did not pay off, as it was just 10 arrows.
And Humbug finally getting the good news that this is exactly where his Dark World progression was, and Eastern Palace was not the place that he needed to go. But it looks like he's going to get bailed out there on the same side, because Furaime is heading over there themselves right now, and this looks like they're going to make the play directly to Eastern Palace right now. A bit surprising given everything, but not wanting to go to the Dark World yet. I guess not feeling comfortable with a 5-heart fighter sword Mothula fight.
Yeah, that's really not something I can blame them for. We don't even have a bottle, so it's not like we could run over to the witch's hut and maybe give us a little bit of help. So that 5 hearts is literally all you're staring at. And if you are looking at our Mothula friend, a lot of the damage you take is from those spikes, and those spikes don't care what color your shirt is. That's 1 heart no matter what.
And they're kind of surprising. I mean, you understand the idea here, because this is a green pendant. You got all of the things you needed for this immediately. Makes sense that you would think that something might be in here, but you also have everything you need to go to pod. It's 5 items. It's not 100% in logic right now, but it's in logic enough for these runners to complete it.
Yeah, especially with that fire rod. Fire rod is what makes the turtle room tolerable. If they didn't have fire rod or the lamp, then I would argue that turtle room could be problematic. But with the fire rod, you just got to make sure you slap one of the torches, and then you can just do whack-a-mole with the turtles until they all disappear. But yeah, there's that. There's also the point of, if you're going to do a pendant, you could have just as easily walked into Thieves Town and gotten 4 items out of that as well. So it is kind of interesting to see Furaime do Eastern, but at some point, Rando's about going with your gut and hopefully being correct. So I don't blame the play.
All right, well, and the Humbug's going to get to go ahead and check out Hype Cave as well, get his great level of disappointment, as we're kind of backtracking through each runner something that they've already done. So if you could, I'll take this moment here to go ahead and say, if you can, give these guys a follow. They could definitely appreciate the additional love shown their way here, as Humbug is gonna run up to the catfish area, which has been completely recency bias here, but catfish lately has been ridiculously profitable for runners here, and we have seen many races lately determined by one person checking catfish and the other one not. So I don't know if this has anything to do with that, or if this is just, you know what, I want to get this out of the way now. But this could be a pod play as well, but I'm not surprised to see someone getting up there a little bit early. Ooh, down to 1 heart though.
Yeah, so can we talk about the fact that both of our runners' health is so low that Humbug just stopped to pick up a piece of heart from the pyramid ledge?
It is, yeah, this is part of the fun here when you get that early kind of Dark World access. Sometimes, like, the game can decide, you know what, I'm going to put all of your health in Ganon's Tower. Have fun, boys. You're going to have to try to get through everything else without touching anything.
You know, I feel like you and I might have a different definition of fun. Just a thought I had there.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm used to playing inverted mode, so, you know, at this point, it's not that big a deal for me. Furaime, go ahead and get in the setup there on our Armos Knights. They go down, give him a single rupee. Catfish gives him just a heart container here, and is going to get a save and quit from Humbug. So we're basically now about getting close to that 30-minute mark here, and both of these runners are kind of at the same place right now, so nobody's really gaining any sort of advantage.
Yeah, more or less. I do need to point out, though, that catfish heart was not just a heart, that was the sank heart.
Always something you want to get immediately before you save and quit.
Exactly, it's the best time for it, right?
Exactly.
But either way, Humbug is up to 6 hearts, which is vanilla NMG for pod, so that's something at least.
It looks like it's headed right over into pod themselves there. So we might be getting a high five from both of these runners in pod. But yeah, Catfish is, Humbug is about to have a very nasty realization there. Kiki requires a little bit more money than you currently have.
Oh no. On the flip side, we'll get to see the smart comment that our programmers left for us, because I'm sure they have something special here.
Alright, get ready. Good luck getting in. Bye, Kiki.
Oof. I would have expected Kiki to call us a dingus, if I'm being perfectly honest, but unfortunately that did not happen. We just got a sarcastic, well, you can let someone else pick the lock then, because I'm more expensive than what you currently possess on your person.
Yeah, that's unfortunate here. So now Humbug is going to go, okay, so plan C, let's go turn in that mushroom and probably get a big 300 and then feel even worse than you're feeling right at the moment.
I mean, there's some level of hilarity to that, though.
It's I mean, I'm smiling on this side. I'm trying not to take pleasure in that from from the commentary side, but kind of funny.
Well, we'll see. Nope, just a piece of heart.
All right, so that's probably going to be forcing Humbug over into the village and into possibly Thieves Town, maybe even Skull Woods if he's feeling pretty daring there. As Furaime is running through pod right now, getting a key in that chest there, so he's going to be able to check everything in the front right now.
I mean, alternatively, we do have bush crabs, guys. Those drop big 20s. Seems like both of our runners have forgotten about that at some point or another. And we're going to actually get a Batcave check. So, grab your butler, Batman. Albert is in the cave.
Okay, now it's time for us to figure out exactly what is it that he's got for us today, as Furaime picks up 10 arrows there. So we're going to throw a little powder on the magic statue here. The bat pops out, shoots us with a whole couple of bolts of lightning, and we get just a piece of heart.
Alright, so there's 24 of those total. We should be coming up on all of them momentarily. It seems like we've seen nothing but pieces of heart at this point.
Yeah. So we were wondering where all of the health was for this in this seed, and apparently it's just sitting in the dark world over here and other random places. So, you know, great.
Yeah, that'll come in handy once we get to GT and we're at like 18 hearts, because we found 5 of them on the way to the big key.
Yep, and Furaime is working their way, and it's finally getting to the back of pod now. Everybody always describes pod as kind of the mullet dungeon here, where you've got, you know, business in the front and party in the back here. So let's see if we can actually get some items in here that will push us a little bit further here.
Actually, that explains why several of the rooms in the back are dark as well. I hadn't thought about it that way.
It's the old. It was the old meme before we had to change things again here. Humbug is just not having a good time with his money situation.
Humbug, bush crabs, my friend. Bush crabs are your answer.
All right, and on Furaime's side, he's picking up things. One of those was a 50 rupee. I could see that much, but I didn't catch what the other one was. Probably a key, I imagine.
It was not a small key, I don't think. So I'm pretty sure he had 2 small keys. It may have been the big key. I do see that over there.
Right, that looks like it's a big key right there, because that was the check for what the heck did I just get?
Yeah, that's definitely something you want to check too, because if you don't, you might end up with something like, I don't know, mitts that doesn't show up on the palette when you're doing a dark room, and you don't want to surprise yourself by not realizing you have those.
Now, Furaime has to be a little bit careful in here. Down to 2 hearts and kills that one little Dodongo there to make sure that he doesn't accidentally get sniped. Picks up a heart container as well. And is working their way into the thing here. Is taking a little bit of additional damage because he's going to want to do a death warp out of here.
Yeah, not having the mirror in certain dungeons allows for some odd routing, because it is quickest to get out at certain points, and if you don't have the mirror, then the only way to get out is to end yourself, as the case may be. As oh, they are not being friendly with where they're shooting their fireballs there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit slower, but it is effective, and that's pretty much what it is at that point. Get through, you sometimes having to get through those dark rooms, and you know, going for a death warp there is not the easiest because you're trying to guess where the fire is going to be shot, and you're hoping that it's going to be shot right on top of you, but game doesn't want to cooperate a lot of the time. As Humbugh finally picks up the money that he needs to open a few of the things. Too late.
I mean, at this point, that's not even remotely enough, though, because that might be enough for the chest game, but we still have the digging game, and that doesn't even consider pod. Because the digging game will help us out, but we need some more rupees for that.
The good news for Humbugh here is that he's got enough money now to go do the chess game, and then he could always go and play the arrow shooting game to get the rest of the money that he needs for the rest of the seed. So
the arrow shooting game, that would be interesting. A lot of chat is pointing out that Furaime did not open up the big chest. He didn't have to. He currently does not have either the map or the compass. And since there's only 2 items left, or 2, I guess I should say item locations left in this dungeon, we know that Helmasaur has 1 and the big chest has the other.
And on top of everything else today, looks like we've got nothing in the big chest in Thieves Town, so that's not something that anybody's going to need to worry about as well. But did pick up the cape out of Blind's cell as well. We're going to be moving on to here on Furaime's side, as we've got the blind fight over on Humbugh's side. So enjoy our simultaneous boss fights.
Yep, and on Humbugh's end, assuming that blind goes down without too much difficulty here, this is going to be the second pendant.
Furaime having a little bit of trouble here. Humblesword not really wanting to play nice, but go ahead and gets that down as well. So Furaime's picking up his first crystal of the day as Humbugh picks up his second pendant already, and we're only about a half an hour in.
Yeah, but so far there's been pretty much nothing useful in either of those pendants, so Humbugh probably not feeling great in spite of the fact that there's 2 dungeons down. And of course the chess game ends up being 70 rupees total for us after spending 30.
What's even better is he picked up a 300 off a blind, so money's not an issue anymore. Finally going to be able to get down to the bottom here. Picks up this cane of Samaria there out of the brewery. So we're starting to get a little bit of more items there. As Furaime deciding to run out of pod, and I imagine it's going to go up and get that catfish check out of the way.
Yeah, makes sense. As someone, like when you're watching a race and you see someone get burned by a location, especially if you see it a couple times, You just really don't want it to happen to you.
Right, now you get up here as fast as you can and find out that, you know what, I guess I don't really need it. Both of these guys have picked up the hard piece on the pyramid, which just goes to show you just how kind of dry this seed has been so far.
Yeah, meanwhile, Humbug taking a look at the piece of heart on Bumper Ledge, deciding not to do it, and also deciding not to mess around with Skull Woods for now.
Here's the big question. So Humbug is just going to be, looks like this is probably a desert play right here. So because he's got everything that he needs to go in complete desert, he's going to be able to check out Agnes Cave as well, which will just tease him a little bit more, and because that's going to show him another 300 rupee stash, unfortunately. But he will be able to complete that and get his second crystal there.
Yeah, that's a fair point. We are starting to run a little low on locations here. We have a bit left to check, but those locations are starting to dwindle as a lot of the stuff that we're getting doesn't really give us any immediate progression.
See here, hopefully here soon we're gonna find something a little bit more exciting at the moment, because we're just kind of motoring through things, hoping that we can find, you know, something more to do. At some point, these runners are going to have to start thinking, I don't want to do a 7-heart Mothula dip, but I think I might have to.
Yeah, and at that point, that's going to be another huge advantage for Furaime because, well, blue mail is nice. It means that at least every time you get smacked from the moth, you only take 1 heart of damage versus 2. Also, where are our bottles? You know, there's supposed to be 4 of those around here somewhere. I'd like to see one at some point. Hello, Flute. Speaking of things that are nice but don't actually unlock anything at this particular moment. I mean, technically the flute unlocks the mountain, but we've already been up there, so that's not terribly helpful at this given point. I don't know, Furaime was preparing the hammer dash there, but I don't think the hammer dash works on the bushes. You know, I feel like this seed might turn out being a situation where we're given the boots early, and that's nice, and we're like, oh, okay, boots early, this could be a good seed. And then, you know, the boots early ended up being the seed's way of apologizing for being terrible. And it does look like Furaime is going to ignore Skull Woods for the time being and head into Pendant Thieves Town as well. You know, I get the feeling that both of our runners are going to be feeling decently behind at this point, just because of the situation of having, you know, 2 pendants cleared and not a whole lot found. Yeah, it's not going to be a good situation mentally for either of them, I don't think, as Humbug does clear out Lanmo and grabs Baby's second shield. Alrighty, so Furaime grabs his book, which is access into desert, and actually it's required access into desert because the flute was sitting in Desert Palace, so that's at least one required item, even though it may feel more like a fetch quest at the time. And from here, I'm not sure what Humbug is going to check. Oh, that's right. Humbug has not done pod yet. Never mind. Ignore the idiot in the comm booth.
Sorry about that. I just realized I had been on mute for the last, like, 5 minutes. So, yeah, no, it looks like here we've got a pod dip going for Humbug's side there as he picked up those additional rupees finally, so he can actually go in now and Kiki not get yelled at this time.
Yeah, which is nice. I think the interesting point of potential divergence here is after Thieves Town is done, is Furaime going to head into Skull Woods? Because someone needs to eventually, I fear.
That's been something that's been open since the first moment that we got into Blind's basement. So you're gotta think maybe there's something hiding there in the back, but could also just be the seed being the seed and just giving you the items, and you are filling in the logic yourself there. Hard to say at this point.
I mean, we'll see. At this point, I feel like we don't have a whole lot that we can check left between our two runners. Obviously, they individually don't know that, but from our perspective, we've seen just about everything other than Skull Woods at this point. There's not really a whole lot that we have not seen other than that, so I suspect Skull Woods to have something.
Yeah. At this point, what else do we have? I mean, we've checked. I think, yeah, I honestly can't think of anything outside of Skull Woods. Because Death Mountain has been checked. We can't really access anything up there. I wouldn't be surprised to be finding like a mirror or a hookshot there in Skull Woods.
Honestly, at this point, the hookshot would just be insult to injury, since that would also give us, I guess, well, we need the mirror too. But yeah, we're still mirror and hookshot away from having access to the pedestal, which is something, I guess.
Yeah, and Furaime having a little trouble there with Blind there, got a little off script and decided, you know what, I've got a blue cane, I'm just gonna cheese him out and take him out that way. There,
yeah,
red pendant.
It may not be the most glorious way to murder a boss, but if it prevents you from dying and it allows the boss to die, well, beggars can't be choosers.
If it's effective, and that's all you need to say is, look, I've got it done. Style points don't really count.
Yeah, pretty
All
much.
right.
As long as the crystal is in hand, just leave it be.
And we're moving up to check Bumper Cave here. Gonna get the news that that's just a piece of heart, and you're not gonna make your trek all the way through that to pick that one up likely. And finally, I'm assuming this is the Skullwoods play finally.
Yeah, well, we don't have the mirror, so it can't be a prolonged ped check. So yeah, I feel like Skullwoods is the only thing around here. Thank goodness we're finally going to get a check in here. And assuming that you and I are both correct and we're not missing anything, and this is actually where our progression is, our runners probably aren't going to feel great once they get around to it.
Right. I mean, the other possibility here is that we've got something along the lines of mitts in here, which would open up our mire access. But you know, until we actually find it, we're gonna have to see, because the first two things that we got here were a key with a big key, and hi mitts.
All right, so those mitts give us access to ice and to mire. Also to King's Tomb. Let's not forget that. And then Smith's Chain, but that's best ignored if we can at all help it, especially without the mirror.
Was the second item there out of Thieves Town, not Steve Towns, but Skull Woods there was just the 3-pack of bombs. So the rest of Skull Woods is empty. Furaime is just going to go ahead and finish her off right now. But yeah, those are not amazing choices to do at this stage of the game there with only Fighter Sword. Both of these runners are more than capable of completing both of those dungeons with just a Fighter Sword, but it's not fun.
Well, Ice Palace is particularly problematic because we don't have Bombos right now. We don't have half magic, and we don't have a potion at all. So if Furaime makes a mistake, or Humbug for that matter, once they get down to Ice Palace, if they make a mistake with those Fire Rod shots, that could be an issue when getting to Cold Stare.
Yeah. I don't like being in this position right now by any means. This is part of the fun of being in the tournament, though. At this point, is you're just kind of having sort of bad, not particularly fun decision you want to make right now. I know it's fun for us to watch it, but not so much fun to having the controller in your hand right now. As we get a little bit of hammer blind fight right here from Furaime there. Looks like 2 shots that connected. Didn't look like they went into the spikes. And one of those, I guess, didn't count, as Moth is now deciding, I'm going to be a jerk.
Yeah, the programmers of this game decided that they wouldn't want Mothula to take damage from spikes. So how they decided to program that in a rather ingenious way is that anytime Mothula takes damage from anything and then bounces off the spikes, the spike damage overwrites whatever damage you actually feasibly did and turns that damage to 0. So yeah, the fight can get prolonged rather extremely in some circumstances.
Yeah, this is kind of the unfortunate thing, because if you just go by the damage tables, your hammer deals tempered sword damage, which means that it should only take 4 shots to kill Mothula, but the amount of times that you'll actually get somebody who only has to do 4 swings of the hammer to kill Mothula is very, very, very small. Now, here's the other thing. Furaime hasn't picked up a flute yet, so their options right now are Desert or Ice Palace. So we're going to have to see exactly which way are they going to go.
Yeah, it seems like right now we're going to get a mushroom check, which is not a bad idea from their perspective. Obviously, it would be better to go ahead and do Desert first, get the flute, and then make the mushroom check quicker. But without having that knowledge, it seems like a good time to do mushroom since you're in the area.
And you're not needing it for fake powder, which kind of reminds me that the other thing that we could do with this, do with those mitts, is we can do the Smith chain. You can do it the very, very slow save and quit way, but you can do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to ignore that possibility, honestly. Smith chain with no mirror is not fun chain, we'll call it.
At the very least, and it looks like we're probably headed over to Desert on Furaime's side as Humbug takes down Helmasaur King and picks up their second crystal as well. So we are tied on crystal count between the 2 runners.
Yep, and it honestly wouldn't surprise me at this point to see Humbug go do Skull Woods, as Furaime goes ahead and completes Desert here. So in just a couple minutes, I'm thinking we're gonna be pretty much even with where our runners are.
It looks like we're going to be tracking exactly up the same area there. So again, if you could, make sure you do go ahead and give these guys a follow, because this is turning into a pretty tight match. We're 50 minutes in, and following right behind each other, more or less, there as Humbug activates his flute.
Yep, get the sails out, swab the deck, because Humbug has released the Quacken.
By far my favorite one of those little memes there for the duck. By far my favorite.
I mean, there's also the grab the cheese and quackers one, but
Oh, that one's good
that
too.
one's
I like that one
that
too.
one's
But
just terrible.
yeah, no. Release the Quacken is by far my favorite.
And it looks like we are going to get a ped check here, so hold on to your ped hype, chat.
All right, I'm holding my cup of coffee here. Let's see.
All right, so what do we have? Medallions, ice rod, quarter heart. Never mind. All right, chat, put away your ped hype.
All right, we can all go back to sleep now. There's nothing on Ped.
Awesome.
Imitating commentary by the two in the booth today. Well, moving on now.
Speaking of boots, we are moving on.
Gonna run fast here and bonk off a couple of torches there in Desert Palace on Furaime's side. Moving on and finding a little bit of more things on our good friend Landmo, which will give Furaime their fire shield, as well as Humbug is about to pick up their mitts and going on. And both of these guys are gonna be exactly just a second ago.
Yeah, the interesting thing here that shows how terrible of a commentator I am is that I have no idea where that blue mail was found by Furaime.
The blue mail's in the dig game right now, and Humbug has somehow been able to isolate both dig game and Stumpy. So those are two checks that he's just not been to. Like, his routing has kind of taken him away from both of those areas right now. So I'm hoping that in his head that he's got that like marked off as something that I should do later. But
well, I feel like that's a situation of, if I were on Humbug's side and I wasn't screwing up the routing like I normally do, it'd be a situation where I'm like, okay, if I can find the mirror, then I can go ahead, knock out digging game, do the Smith chain, get cave 45 while I'm over there, just knock it all out in one shot.
That would be the ideal route if you can pull something like that off, as Furaime is activating their flute as well, and then it's going to have their choices between Mire and Ice. But yeah, this is going to be a bit trickier for Humbug right now. Just having those additional areas open is to make you feel kind of bad. As he picks up a third key for Skull Woods there, just because why, if you've got the extra, why not take it?
So I actually think it's a situation where Humbug doesn't realize that they have both the items. I think that might be what's going on. And keep in mind, Furaime is not going to be able to actually get into Mire right now because we are 0 of 3 on medallions.
Oh, that's right. So it looks like it's a Smith chain check on his side there. And this is we're gonna go for the slow way. Now we've got hammer pegs here. Now with the boots, he can just dash right through this and knock this out in very, very quick progression here.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have done Smith chain before at least doing Mire Shed, but that's obviously just my opinion. I'm in the booth for a darn good reason. It's because I cannot play this game with any sort of skill whatsoever. So I'm not going to argue that my idea is better than Furaime's, but that's just where I would have gone with it personally. Either way,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Either way, we are going to get a turn-in of the frog here in just a moment. The flute does make this a lot more tolerable, as Humbug's going to want to be careful with 1 heart left.
This is the problem of not picking up that blue mail is that Moth is going to do two hearts of damage to everything here. You're down to your single heart. This is some. Oh, and gets nailed right before he could get the hammer on the Moth. Unfortunately, that's a shame, right there. Those hitboxes on that hammer are just notoriously bad, as Furaime picks up an ether medallion from the Smiths, and that's gonna make you feel real bad on Humbugh's side. That is just an awful fight to have to do with Fighter Sword.
Yeah, it's not nice, and Fighter Sword kind of makes it like, I mean, we have Cane of Burna, as ether is actually the medallion that we need, so Furaime made the good call there. That is why I am in the booth, and Furaime's playing. So, good call on their side. But, as I was saying, the problem with just having the Fighter Sword is you can't just be lazy, toss on the cape, and actually do real damage to Moth, because Fighter Sword, not terribly helpful against the bug.
Yeah, your best case scenario is to try to do some spins to the Moth, but it doesn't really... Spins will just do what a Master Sword slash will do, and that just takes a lot of time to go ahead and get that done.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that as Humbugh decides not to grab the Duck Express, especially considering the fact that, you know, a lot of your attacks end up being somewhat useless for Mothula anyways. And Humbugh gets de-shielded.
It's actually not a terrible thing, because the shield actually only really provides lag frames in a lot of ways. And the other thing, that if he runs into the mirror shield at some point, it will just automatically start as the mirror shield. The game still thinks he has a fire shield right now.
Meanwhile, gonna be grabbing that blue mail here in just a second, and probably gonna feel less than wonderful about doing so after that Mothula fight.
Yeah, I can't imagine gonna feel too happy about this one, unfortunately. Something or so got you your blue mail, it looked like, when on Furaime's side, so he's gonna be sitting here for a couple of seconds and then be rewarded with the blue Yoshi sprite, which is, you know, an attractive little sprite for sure.
No, wait, that's not Yoshi. Okay. Editor, get rid of that clip.
Someone to clip that, please.
We were friends, man. We were friends.
Alright, but on Humbugh's side here, he's going to go ahead and pick up the Smiths there. That'll get him his Meyer access once he turns this sucker in as well. On Furaime's side, I haven't really seen anything in Meyer yet. Ooh, and kind of unfortunately misses that first fire rod shot there, and is now going to just go around and do the other three. Got this pretty well from that point.
Meanwhile, Humbugh gonna get, I think, like 5 rupees or a piece of heart or something from here. Yeah, 5 rupees, cool.
Hooray! More money.
So, can we talk about the fact that we have the book, but neither of our, oh goodness gracious, help me. I want to call them pedestals, but that's not what to call them. I'm apparently just having a day today.
Tablets.
There you
Let me
go.
help you there.
Neither of our tablets are in Logic right now, and we're nearly an hour in, and we also don't have a bottle.
It's been just kind of a weird seed, because, like, usually at some point we expect to go to Death Mountain and we have something up there, but we don't have the ability to get into the actual east side where all the items are. right now we're just kind of having to go through the late game dungeons here with just a fighter sword and a couple of hearts. Like, this is really pushing our runners kind of to the limit at the moment. And as I say that, there you go. There's your hook shot sitting in the, I believe that was the map chest in Mire.
Yep, so now we can get our next piece of progression from the back of Swamp. Oh wait, we still need the mirror. Never mind, we can't even get into Swamp. I really want something to be in the Swamp just because, you know, we might as well just go full troll if we're going to go troll.
No, I mean, as we were looking before the game started there, you got to see just a little bit at what the first seed was looking like, and it looked like Furaime had completed the entire set of dungeons there. He had all of the pendants done, had all of the crystals done, and you're just kind of hoping that we've got that again.
I mean, at this point, I feel like we're slightly past the point of hoping. We're at a situation where we're an hour in, we have 3 crystals done. We have the capability of doing maybe 2 more. Because, I mean, Mire is technically out of logic because we still haven't found the lamp. Add that to the list of things. Hey, we have a Master Sword. Thank goodness. That'll at least make transversing the Dark World a little easier. And Ice Palace, likewise, could be in logic, but we're going to need that hook shot. So I wonder if this is going to be a logic-required double dip of Mire. This is not a seed I'd want to follow the logic for, if I'm being perfectly honest.
That's part of the advantage of getting to some of this higher level running area here, is because, yeah, you don't really follow the logic after a point, because a lot of this can get really mean. Furaime getting into a fighter sword Vitreous fight, which is just one of the best things you can do, and is choosing to start off with some arrows here. Now, this is going to get pretty hairy. He's probably going to want to save 8 arrows for the big eye. So he's down to 10. And nope, it's just choosing to go, you know what, forget it. I am going to shoot through all of these right now.
I'm honestly surprised to not see bomb strats early on. It's not really an option now with only 2 small eyeballs given the frequency of the lightning. But bomb strats early on isn't a bad place to start.
I mean, showing a little bit of another good bit of knowledge there, that if you walk along the right wall there, the poison or the slime doesn't actually hurt you. So you can sit there and just shoot arrows off of that side there and not have to worry about getting hurt. Picks up silver arrows from Vitreous, which is that's something you wanted before the fight, but you know, hey, thanks, I guess.
Yeah, about 45 seconds ago when I entered that room, thanks for silvers.
And what's worse is you've also completed the Armos Knights, and you've completed Helmasaur already. So at this point, those silvers are useful for Ganon and the GT climb.
Yeah, and land mode's
Thanks,
already
game.
done too. So yeah, we're pretty much just holding out for GT and the Piggy himself.
Now Furaime is definitely getting a little bit of a little bit more of a lead here, a little bit of an easier time, as they've now. Are they going to try to pick up the big bomb here? Now, did they? Oh, I guess Pod was the other bomb dungeon there. Couldn't remember there for a second. And just gonna go turn in the big bomb and find out what Pyramid Fairy is hiding for us.
Yeah, Pod and Mire. So we could find a medallion here. We could find the ice rod here. We could find the mirror. We could find a bottle. We can't find the lamp, though, as that would be logically required for Mire, so we're not going to locate that anywhere around here.
Could find the ice rod as well. there's a list of things that we need for sure, and man, we're an hour plus in and still looking for a lot of useful items.
Yep, and still going to be looking for those items.
Man, so yeah, it just nothing there in Pyramid Fairy, and it looks like Humbug is headed their way back up to the Mothula fight with the fighter sword now and a blue male master sword. Sorry, should hopefully have an easier time of it.
Yeah, still only sitting on 8 hearts, which is honestly really, really low for an hour and 5 minutes into a seed. Like this is starting to get, I don't know, it's that weird cross between mildly funny and slightly hysterical, because it's just, you wait for it to end. Just make it stop, please.
This is giving us a chance to kind of admire the execution, because this is a very high level execution seed here, as Furaime picks up his master sword there in Paradox Cave, and is going to be able to just clear out this entire mountain here in this next couple of seconds here. It's going to get a piece of heart and our first
at 1 hour and 6 minutes in, Furaime is in bottle mode. Goodness gracious, we can finally go to sick kid.
I was about to say, I'm like, you getting very excited. I'm like, we're not in go mode yet. Hold on. Oh, Humbug, come on, bud. Oof, taking a no, and goes down again to the spikes this time, unfortunately.
I think this might be the point where the tilt has started to, as there's another sword on the floating island there, but I think this might be the point where the tilt has started to commence. Meanwhile, Furaime is going to be headed straight over to our Aethered Tablet, or a mini pedestal, as I might start calling them now. And then we're probably going to get a clear of Hera, which would be nice. It's another crystal we can get out of the way.
Unfortunately, on Humbug's side, you can kind of see that, this is starting to get to him a little bit here, because he's just went down to pick up a compass out of the bridge chest there. He's already picked up both items out of there, and unfortunately looks to have forgotten here, and it's just causing some problems for him. He's going to sit here and take a long look at the his menu there, try to decide exactly what he's going to do now.
Yeah, at this point, I'm pretty sure he's sitting on 2 potential locations to go, and I think we're going back into Skull Woods.
Wouldn't be surprised, unfortunately. Wouldn't be surprised that this is something that they've got to... It's a crystal, so you've got to knock out Mothula at this point. Taking 2 deaths to Mothula is not going to make you happy. You're not going to feel too good about it, but you're going to have to go ahead and finish it. And we get the Ice Rod out of the big chest in Hera, so depending on what Turtle Rock is, that is...
Maybe go mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the mirror is not going to be strictly required. I will say this, though. A new glitch that we have recently discovered here that Furaime did show us was the Herapot clip. And that is it is much faster to get up to the top of the dungeon that way. So that was really nice to see. It's kind of amazing to me that we're sitting here looking at a video game that's almost 3 decades old, and people are still finding new ways to minorly and moderately break it, as the case may be.
And what was kind of cool there is Furaime actually showed the spin speed version of the Herapod glitch, which is something that I've not learned. I've only learned the bomb jump Herapod glitch. Both ways are effective, and like you said, it skips 2 or 3 floors of the entire dungeon, which is just really, really fast. It turns Hera into especially if you're in go mode, it turns Hera into basically a 30-second dungeon.
Yeah, it is. It is super nice. It's also really, really nice when you have a situation where you either don't have the lamp, or you don't have a fire source, or you just don't feel like it, and you've got that big key sitting down in Hera basement, so you can potentially use that to skip the coffee break as well.
Yeah, it's a very, very nice way of getting through things. As we're gonna finally find out here in about the next 10 seconds whether or not we're in go mode, or whether we've still got to look for our next medallion here. It's about a 33% chance, so we'll see what we get here.
All right, what are you calling?
I'm gonna say go mode because the seed's been mean so far. Let's just get it going.
I want Vanilla Quake.
All right, and survey says,
Hey, there you go.
It is an hour and 10 minutes into the seed. Furaime has hit go mode and will be running through the rest of Turtle Rock and Ice Palace as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the dungeon he's at right now, not going to make much of a difference being in go mode, but Ice Palace, ooh, you can fly through that sucker on go mode, so that's going to be nice.
This has been a pretty nasty seed for our runners there. Like, you got Dark World Axis wasn't particularly hard to find, but then it was a matter of going to a Pendant Thieves Town, grabbing a book out of Pendant Thieves Town, going down, getting your flute out of Desert, getting your mitts out of out of Skull Woods, to get up here and finish off the rest of the seed on the mountain. This has been kind of an interesting start here.
Yeah, that's one thing, not to mention the fact that you're sitting here with the hookshot in Mire, so you needed those mitts and the... Yeah, that's not fast enough. So you needed the mitts and the flute to even get your hookshot. And then that doesn't even talk about the fact that, the seed threw the bow at you early, and you've got a green pendant Eastern, you've got a crystal pod, and there wasn't really a whole lot in either of those dungeons, so what you were pointed towards early wasn't actually going to give you any real progression. Humbugh, poof, on one heart.
If he wanted to save himself a little bit of extra trouble there, he could go powder one of those bunny beams underneath the pots there and not have to worry about, necessarily taking any more damage.
It would have to be a fake powder, as Humbugh is currently completely out of magic.
He just did that now. Hopefully he gets to these hook shot before the fireball gets him in. Yeah, he did. Okay, so that's at least, he's at least got that going for him.
Alright, and with that little piece of magic, we'll be able to bunny beam either an anti-fairy here or the one underneath the pot right there. Why didn't you just...
Wait, yeah, okay. Okay, pick up the heart there. Don't stop making me nervous.
And even though we're sitting here in go mode, we still only have 9 hearts on Furaime's side. So, like a little health would be nice, please.
I mean, it's nine hearts with a master sword right now. Now you've got the cape, but on top of having the cape, you don't have half magic, so the cape isn't overly useful for you. You can use it to spam a couple of extra shots off of Ganon there, but you got to be careful. Silvers make it easier. But man, yeah, this has been a very execution heavy seed here, and that's one place where Furaime has really, really shown a lot of skill so far.
Oh yeah, very much so. I think with that key, we actually might not have to check any of Laser Bridge. I might be wrong, my Turtle Rock key logic is not great, but I believe that we just need 2 more to get to Trinex, and we have both in hand right now.
Exactly. So Laser Bridge is now just a suggestion here, and I can't imagine Furaime is going to take the time to go down there. There's nothing that would really help him.
I mean, I think a sword would be worth the time spent, but making, kind of hoping that one of the 3 remaining swords would be sitting on Laser Bridge is probably a little too much to ask, especially what this seed has thrown our runners through.
All right, and Furaime getting nicely through that little dark room there. Another one of those that looks very hard until you actually realize you only have to hold maybe 3 directions on the entire time to get that thing to work. Gets a nice cane dash through the last switch room in Mire, and Humbugh just deciding, I have a cape, I have a master sword, I am going to smash these eyeballs to death.
Yep, and the one awesome thing about the cape is that it doesn't drain magic while you're slashing your sword. So it's a situation where button spamming is actually helpful.
I'm going for the backdoor strats here on Trinex. There is gonna get a couple of cycles here because the head just doesn't want to play nice, unfortunately. As Humbugh does go ahead and get his 3rd crystal from Misery Mire.
Yeah, we're getting there. It has been a long, slow grind for both of our runners, and it has been insane. If you are just recently joining us and you're sitting here looking at the time going, well, it's not terrible. We've only got Go Mode, Ice Palace, and then, Ganon's Tower itself. This won't be a terrible time. We had the boots super early, so there's been a lot more running around than it might first originally seem if you are just joining us. This seed has been not fun.
And if you are just joining us, thanks for dropping in. Go ahead and give these guys a follow here, because Furaime is in go mode at the moment. Has a Ice Palace clear left ahead of him. Decides not to do any of the additional Super Bunny or Hookshot Cave checks right now. And also, if you could, give a shout out to our tracker there, Bandman25 there, who's clicking the buttons behind the scenes and making sure that, everybody knows exactly what's going on with as far as the seed goes. Making things a lot easier for everybody.
Yeah, very much so. And for those of you who have not done tracking, it is much more difficult than it would originally seem. I thought it was easy, and I have tried it, and it is not fun. So major kudos to the people who press the buttons for us and keep us on track here.
Throw this out there as well, as if you could go ahead and maybe give my co-commentator Hammer Bro here a follow as well. I'm pretty sure all of us could appreciate a little extra help.
I mean, only if you want to see some really terrible video game playing. I am not good, unfortunately. There's a reason why I sit here and commentate, as Humbugh sees what would be his butter sword up on the floating island. So almost definitely going to leave that one alone, especially as we still don't have the mirror.
Now, Humbugh is going to make his way up, and at this point, once he picks up his Ice Rod here out of the big chest in Hera, he also will be in go mode. So hopefully at that point he'll be able to just kind of focus on, okay, I need to clear out my additional dungeons as quickly as possible. Probably's got to feel well behind though with those 2 Mothula deaths.
Yeah, very much so. Although I'm not sure that Furaime is feeling much better. This is just kind of one of those seeds, as Humbugh forgets that they do not, in fact, have the mirror. This is just one of those seeds where you feel like you would have been able to route it much better, potentially, even though that's probably not really the case. Just kind of looking at it, it feels like it should be much more consistent and kind than the motions that you ended up going through. So it's really easy to feel like you're super behind on a seed where the routing is just not friendly.
Well, that is definitely the case there. I mean, especially with this tournament as well. You kind of know that if you're running around about an hour and 30 minutes, there's a good chance that your opponent might be ahead of you by quite a ways. It's a difficult place to find, difficult area to find yourself in, because you're just kind of hoping that I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I don't actually know if I'm okay. And it just, the nerves can really start to get to you.
Yeah, most definitely, especially in the situation that we're in now where, you know, for either our runners, even for Furaime, where, you know, there's a game 3, if Furaime does end up losing this game, from Furaime's perspective, really don't want to go to a game 3 if you can at all help it. You want to put away the series, give yourself a break, not have to worry about the stress of a game 3.
All right, Furaime is going to go ahead and knock out Cold Stare's shell here as humbugh picks up his 4th crystal there, is also in go mode. Now, Furaime's got a extremely fun hammer Cold Stare fight here, which is just the best type of thing, because that hitbox, as we've seen from Humbugh's side, is consistent at all times and is not fight though. Wow, that is a good fight there on Furaime's side. And so, chat, hold your horses, hold your horses. And it is now time for the big key guessing game. And I have just started our little friend, the Sasharala bot there, who is going to keep track of our numbers for today. So get your numbers in between 1 and 22, where you think that big key is in Ganon's tower. Bro, you have an option today. What are you thinking for your guess?
So I don't know the routing that either of these runners tend to take, unfortunately. But I'm gonna go ahead and say I want it to be in the compass room somewhere, but I don't want there to be a small key in the hope room. So that would make it, let's say, 19. I'm going to call the second chest in that compass room there. It obviously could be much lower if Furaime does Dark Magician strats, but we'll see how that plays out. What are you hoping for our big key?
Yeah, that's always the question there. I never get these things right, so I'm gonna just say 7, just because I like the number 7.
Fair point. That's as good of a way to guess RNG as any other way.
Yeah. Oh, and Humbug just having a day right now. It's unfortunate. Oh, don't do that. Oh. He did just a second there and gone around the corner and gotten it on the second shot there, but
yeah, my problem here is that you're gonna have to spin around until those torches unlight themselves.
All right, it's getting it again here and picks up the torch there on the second time. Now I'm gonna stop this bot the moment that Furaime hits into the gets into GT here, so you've got about 5 seconds to get any guesses in. All right, the crystals spin. Seal has been broken. The stairs have come down. And Furaime is into GT. The bot has been stopped.
All right, so here we go. Hope room is where we're starting. And we are sitting here with, hey, some more money that we desperately need. And big key number 2. So, there we go.
All right.
We still do need a small key just to make sure. Well, unfortunately, Bob is dead, guys. And yep, and then we're going to have to, Humbugh just took a death over in the change jump room. Ugh.
Unfortunate, but all in all, that's not the worst place to take a death in Turtle Rock. Like, you'd rather it happened there than much deeper in, but yeah. Furaime going ahead and picking up powdering an anti-fairy there, and is now going to be able to just get across the spike room and start their climb. Still not with a huge amount of hearts here. Usually getting into GT outside of like the more difficult modes here, you've got some hearts in here, and it's this seed has been kind of poor on the health today.
Yeah, this is one of those seeds that I would actually really like to see the spoiler for, just because, you know, I want to know where those hearts are. I want to know what Sick Kid had, because we never did get to see it, although we will see that in the at the end when they run through the credits. I also kind of want to know where that lamp was sitting, because, you know, we never found that either, although Ice Palace is a decent location for that.
Yeah, because we did have the access to Ice Palace at a pretty early point here. So yeah, that's probably the best guess there for where that lamp actually turned out to be. We're not going to be seeing that today, I don't think.
Meanwhile, Furaime just blowing through the gauntlet. I would like to point out, just as a public service announcement, the gauntlet is difficult. Don't let Furaime fool you.
It's getting down kind of low on the hearts right now, down to 3. Getting a pretty nice little lucky magic drop there. Choosing to powder the anti-fairy in here, which is going to throw off the timing for these land mode 2. See if Furaime even cares. Furaime does not care and zero cycles it anyway. That was impressive fight right there.
Yeah, basically, it just made the Landmo fight look more impressive. Yeah, there we go. Humbug taking a second here to get that crystal roller out of the way. Oh, Furaime going a little too far off the bridge. I believe the proper phrase is Furaime took a long walk off a short bridge.
That's one of those times where you swear, I swear I pressed up. I swear I pressed up, but apparently my controller doesn't think I pressed up.
Yeah, it's always convenient to blame the controller in that regard. And we are going to be having to do some fire rod strats here, since we are still devoid of our other fire source. As Humbug is somehow missing a key, so gonna have to do some laser skips here.
Humbug didn't go the longer route that Furaime went for to get the key out of the big chest there. Oh wow, Furaime just everything's coming up their way right now. Picks up half magic out of one of the 2 chests at the top of GT here. That's just gonna make his Ganon fight that much easier.
I mean, you had to pick up something eventually, though. It's been terrible.
It's been a bit rough for both of these guys, but now things are going to be a little bit.
Oh no, there's not even a key over here.
It's one of those awful situations. Man, that's the second seed in a row where something like that has happened for me. This is bad. Humbug now has to walk all the way back to the big chest in there. This is an incredibly rare situation here. And yeah, I feel like Humbug at this point is just, I think the seed has broken him in such an unfortunate way, taking a death here, and that's going to send him all the way back to the beginning.
No, it won't, because he just took the safety door, didn't he?
The safety door?
Yeah.
He did take the safety door. Okay, no, I'm sorry, I missed that. But yeah, this is a rough time right here for him.
I think at this point it goes from like expecting that done to occur sooner rather than later to just kind of being like, all right, just give me the done. Let's just be done with this seed. It's been terrible. I'm done with it. Let's just get it over with.
Yeah, this is
electing to not even do that, just went ahead and saved and quit.
Yeah, this feels like, you know what, I've had it. I'm out of here. This is completely understandable. He's had just some horrible luck today, and this is one that, there's nothing really you can do. And on top of knowing who you're racing against, I could easily see at some point just being like, you know what, it's not something I want to keep doing here. As Furaime jumps into their Ganon fight, is going to have to do quite a few Master Sword spins to get him into Phase 4, where he'll be able to use the silver arrows to knock him out there. Getting a nice bounce off of that first Trident there. You're going to need 12 Master Sword spins in both of the first 2 stages in order to get Ganon into his next phase. This is going pretty decent luck there with where Ganon wants to sit. And he's going to decide to go with the cape strats there at the back door of Ganon and just be able to get a lot of additional spins in there, and pulls it off. And wow, just the luck has definitely been on their side to go along with some very excellent routing and execution. This is very, very well done on his side.
Yeah, we just need a couple more spins here, and then we can thankfully make use of those silver arrows. Meanwhile, Humbugh is going to go ahead and take his revenge tour against Mothula. So that's going to be nice. Let's just go ahead and get that Moth out of the way. Still only sitting on 9 hearts max, so it's been just not a healthy seed.
As Furaime makes his way into Phase 4 of the Ganon fight as well there, gets the Torch Glitch. So we are now getting into, I think that was 1, maybe 2.
Yeah, started off with a double, got a third one, so this will finish it off here. We just need a spin to freeze the piggy, and then a silver to finish cooking them.
All right.
And Mothula goes down on Humbugh's side. The revenge is complete. The Moth is dead. Meanwhile, get your GGs in chat for Furaime in just a moment. Wait until he crosses the bridge. I've seen this bridge ruin some stuff. Alrighty, get your GGs in chat. Furaime finishes in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 40 seconds. And in a move that surprises probably no one with how terrible this seed has been, Humbugh goes ahead and throws in a dot forfeit right away. Oh, goodness gracious. This is one of those seeds that you can either laugh or cry. And if I can take a line from Humbugh over in the SRL chat, quote, "I have been laughing for the last 30 minutes. That's a much better way to handle the seed than most people will. So major kudos to Humbugh for sticking it out.
Definitely. I have been known to get very frustrated in one of these seeds and just want to start yelling at the wall here. So to continue through that and really persevere and just keep trying there, that it definitely deserves all the GGs in the world there. Humbugh is actually now joining us in the commentary booth there. GGs, bud. That was a rough day for you.
Yeah, that was not my finest moments, that's for sure. To be honest, I went into the race and I felt like I was mentally not prepared. We had our first race just before, and it took almost 2 hours for the both of us. And then this seed just slapped me over and over and over again. I felt it real bad that my head wasn't in it. I made bad decisions, and I mean, I was a bit unlucky with some stuff, but I made some really bad decisions. So, I mean, GG's to Furaime. Yeah.
You unfortunately, did have a little bit of I'm just now seeing your retitling of this seed.
Yeah, that is basically how I feel about it. I mean, I was actually laughing the last 30 minutes of this. I felt like I was losing it just half an hour in, and it went south from there. So I had to take it. I had to take it with the laughter, otherwise it would be. Otherwise, I would be crying. So,
Right, exactly.
I mean, I had fun. It was rough, but I had fun.
Yeah, this was most definitely not a seed where you wanted to be on anything other than your A game. We still don't know where any of the health was. We don't know where any of those other bottles were. This seed was just very stingy with how it gave you guys anything at all. So yeah, this is not fun at all. I am so glad to be sitting here in the booth for this one. I'll tell you that.
And I'm glad it's over. I really am.
Yeah, I can't say I blame you at all.
I mean, I think that with enough experience, you can do this seed kind of good. I guess Furaime has that experience and did it well enough. But I actually don't have that long-term experience of this game. So I mean, even in the beginning, I felt like, I want to clear Skull Woods and I want to kill Mothula, but I had 5 hearts, green mail, fighter sword. That was all I had, and I really did not want to do that. So I avoided it. I knew it was the wrong call to avoid it, but I didn't want to do it. But with the right amount of experience, that call would have been easy to make, I guess.
I mean, to be fair, Furaime avoided Mothula for quite a bit of time, too. You were not the only person who kept looking at Skullwoods like, maybe later. It's not an easy fight. Really, regardless of your skill level, that's a fight that can go south really, really fast. And yeah, it was a situation where Furaime pretty much last location those mitts as well. Like it was to the point where between the two of you, we knew that something had to be sitting in Skull Woods because both of you were like, can I get some health maybe first? Or, I don't know, a sword that isn't made out of plastic or something that's going to make this fight not terrible? And the seed just didn't give it to you.
No, it was stingy on that part, yeah.
That's the problem with that sort of thing is that Mothula is a known jerk, and it is just he's just one of the worst bosses there, and there was a couple of times where it looked like you had him, but the hammer box just decided, no, that one's not going to count this time. Sorry. And
it actually felt like that the first time that I died to him, he died at the same time, basically. I did the hit from above, and then I think a spike hit me from the side. So I think I was close, but not close enough.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I thought it was a situation where if you'd survived like 3 or 4 more frames, the explosion sequence would have started and you'd have been fine.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it just looks like it was not your day. But, either way there, you made it to the round of 64. You made it to the bracket stage, which is something that a lot of us can't say that they did. So, all of the congratulations in the world to you.
Yes, thank you. I am really happy that I made it to the brackets. I knew that beating Furaime would be hard, but I'm really glad that I made it through this far in the tournament. It has been incredibly fun. This is my first tournament, so and I'm coming back for more. I just had to rest from this seat first.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Version 31 has been unfriendly, we'll say, to be kind. And it's funny because this seed started out so nice. You had the Pegasus boots within 10 minutes or so. Everything was looking okay, and then it just went, all right, well, that's all you're going to get. Have fun. What about the rest of it? No. Oh, here's a bow. Okay. Well, let me go do Eastern. What's there? Nothing. All right. How about Pod? Yeah, not a whole lot here either. Okay. Where am I supposed to go? Well, how about Mothula? But I've got 6 hearts. Yeah. How about Mothula?
The thing is that I switched the settings to a short sword just to avoid this situation. I wanted to get a little bit more safety because I knew that with this low amount of up safeties I wouldn't stand a chance. But well, see, take it away, I guess.
Yeah, I think what happened is that when you picked Assured Sword, the seed smelled fear, and that was when it all went wrong.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, but anyways, thank you very much for the restream and the commentating and the tracking and everything. I'm gonna go to bed now. It's in the middle of the night here, so thank you again, and I'll be back.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to watching you. As it is, get some sleep. Dream about seeds where you have more than half a row of hearts. And yeah, we'll go from there. So for those of you who are asking, we do have one more race today. It is Amazing Amphros versus Doom Tap. That is going to be right here on Speed Gaming 2. It is scheduled to start at 9:20 Eastern. So it's about 2 hours from now on the nose. That's all we have for tonight. We do have one potential race tomorrow at 3:20 Eastern, Illis versus Swerve. We do not have a restream set up for that yet, so keep an eye on the schedule. And then we only have one more race beyond that for this next week because obviously GDQ is going on, so definitely watch a bunch of that. So we're probably not going to have a whole lot going this week. So if you guys have a hankering for rando, either watch the previous races or you're just going to have to play some to get your fix because right now AGDQ is going on and that's going to be everyone's priority, I believe. Other than that, I think that's everything for me. If you want more rando tonight, watch the one coming up in 2 hours on this channel. Other than that, I think that's it. So everyone have a good night, and may your seeds be kinder than this one was. Days Cloud, I'll let you have the last word.
Thank you there, Hammer Bro. And if you could, go ahead and make sure that you gave Furaime and Humbugh there a follow as well for, just as a thank you for the show that they put on for us. Again, thank you to Bandman25 there for taking care of the tracking for us. Thank you to Hammer Bro for putting up with me in the commentary booth tonight. And with that being said, I am Dazed Cloud, and everybody have a great night and hope to see you in the chat here in 2 hours. Take care.